In the heart of the galaxy at Nexus Prime, humanity stood on trial, laughed at, mocked, underestimated, as Earth's representatives, diplomats, and warriors alike prepared to prove their worth. The galaxy's elite saw only primitive technology. But what they couldn't fathom was the fire of human ingenuity burning just beneath the surface. A secret project on Titan base, unknown to them, was about to tip the scales in an unimaginable way. Today, Earth would no longer be a footnote in galactic history. Today, humanity would show the galaxy what it means to survive, to adapt, and to fight. When the galaxy laughed at Earth's warriors, Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the observation deck of the massive space station Nexus Prime, watching ships from dozens of alien civilizations dock at the orbital platform. The station stretched for kilometers in every direction, its crystalline spires and flowing metal architecture unlike anything humanity had ever built. After 3 centuries of isolation, Earth was finally ready to join the galactic community. The Cosmic Senate chamber buzzed with activity as representatives from 47 different species prepared for the day's proceedings. Elena adjusted her dress uniform, the simple blue and gold design-looking plain compared to the exotic attire of her alien counterparts. Beside her, General Marcus Chun reviewed his presentation notes one final time. "Remember, Captain," Chun said quietly, "we're not just representing Earth today. We're representing all of humanity's future among the stars." Elena nodded, watching as a group of towering reptilian beings entered the chamber. Their scales shimmered with an inner light, and their eyes held the wisdom of millennia. These were the Saurian hegemony, one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. At the center of the chamber, High Counselor Vexthalion materialized in a column of pure energy. The being had no physical form, existing as conscious light that could shape reality with its thoughts. When it spoke, its voice resonated through every mind in the room. "The Cosmic Senate recognizes the delegation from Sol System," Vexthalion announced. "The species known as humans has requested membership in the Galactic Defense Coalition. Let them present their capabilities." General Chin stepped forward, activating a holographic display that showed Earth's military forces. Images of fighter jets, aircraft carriers, tanks, and nuclear submarines filled the air above the chamber. The presentation highlighted humanity's nuclear arsenal, kinetic weapons, and chemical explosives. Honored representatives, Chin began, "Humanity has defended our world through numerous conflicts. Our weapons may seem simple, but they have proven effective in protecting our civilization." The reaction was immediate. A chittering sound filled the chamber as the insectoid swarm delegates began their equivalent of laughter. Admiral Krindek, whose exoskeleton gleamed with bioluminescent patterns, stepped forward. "Chemical propellants and metal projectiles?" Krindek's voice buzzed with amusement. "Our larvae play with more sophisticated toys. These primitive weapons would not even scratch our cargo vessels." Ambassador Zeth Kar of the Saurian hegemony raised his massive head, his ancient eyes gleaming with what might have been pity. "Young species, your enthusiasm is charming. But warfare among the stars requires technology you cannot comprehend. Our plasma cannons can melt asteroids. Our antimatter bombs can crack moons." A new voice joined the mockery. Counselor Thexrin of the Crystalline Empire spoke, her voice like wind chimes in a storm. "Our reality distortion fields can bend space itself. Your metal bullets would simply cease to exist before reaching their targets." Elena felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment, but she maintained her composure. The holographic display shifted to show more advanced human technology, orbital platforms, fusion reactors, quantum computers. But even these achievements seemed primitive compared to the casual display of power around them. That Vexthalion's energy form pulsed with colors that conveyed mild interest. The species shows potential for growth. However, their current capabilities are insufficient for frontline military service. "What roles could we fill?" Elena asked, though she dreaded the answer. "Supply transport," Krindek suggested. "Your vessels could carry provisions to actual warships. Cleanup crews," added Zethkar. "After real battles, someone must clear the debris." Perhaps entertainment, chimed Thexrin. Your primitive weapons might amuse our warriors during long campaigns. The chamber filled with sounds of alien amusement, clicks, hums, and harmonics that all conveyed the same message. Humanity was a joke. General Chen's hands clenched into fists, but his voice remained steady. We accept whatever roles the Coalition deems appropriate. However, we request the opportunity to prove ourselves when situations arise. Of course, Vexthalion agreed, though the condescension was clear. All species must contribute according to their abilities. The Coalition will assign humans to appropriate support duties. As the formal session ended, Elena found herself surrounded by curious aliens. A being made of living crystal examined her with faceted eyes. Tell me, human, how do you expect to fight enemies who can manipulate time itself? We adapt, Elena replied simply. Adapt. The crystal being's form shifted, expressing confusion. Your weapons operate on principles we abandoned millions of years ago. Mass and velocity? Chemical reactions? Such concepts are relics of primitive civilizations. A floating entity composed of swirling gases drifted closer. Perhaps they could serve as historical curiosities, living examples of how warfare was conducted in the galaxy's youth. Elena excused herself and walked to a quieter section of the station. Through the transparent walls, she could see the vast expanse of space dotted with alien vessels. Each ship was a masterpiece of advanced technology, their hulls shimmering with energy fields and exotic materials. Her communication device chimed with an encrypted message from Earth. The transmission was brief but significant. Titan Base reports Project Prometheus on schedule. Maintain cover. Command. Elena deleted the message and rejoined the official proceedings. The aliens were discussing patrol routes and supply schedules, casually assigning human ships to the most mundane tasks. The Terran fleet would transport food, carry repair materials, and evacuate wounded, but never engage in actual combat. Your species will learn much from observing real warfare, Zethkar said to General Chen. Perhaps in a few centuries, you will develop weapons worthy of galactic conflicts. Perhaps, Chen replied diplomatically to as the day progressed. Elena noticed something interesting. While the aliens mocked human technology, they seemed genuinely curious about human psychology. Several delegates asked probing questions about human behavior, decision-making, and adaptability. Your species survived a global ice age using primitive tools, observed a tentacled being from the Aquatic Collective. How did you accomplish this without energy manipulation? We worked together, Elena explained. We shared knowledge, adapted our techniques, and never gave up. Fascinating, the being replied. Most species develop advanced technology before facing such challenges. Your people succeeded through, what is your word, stubbornness? Determination, Elena corrected. Later, as the human delegation prepared to leave, Elena received another encrypted message. This one contained coordinates for a rendezvous point beyond the outer planets of the Sol system. The message was from Dr. James Park, the lead scientist on humanity's most classified project. The return journey to Earth took 2 weeks. During the trip, Elena and Chun discussed their reception at the Cosmic Senate. While the meeting had been humiliating, they had achieved their primary objective. Humanity was now part of the galactic community, even if only as glorified janitors. They see us as primitives, Chin observed, but they're not wrong about our technology. Their ships could destroy our entire fleet without effort. Technology isn't everything, Elena replied. They've grown comfortable with their superiority. Maybe too comfortable. What do you mean? Elena showed him the encrypted messages. Earth has been working on something new, something the aliens haven't seen before. Chen's eyes widened as he read the technical specifications. Is this real? Can our scientists actually manipulate quantum fields? We're about to find out, Elena said. The galaxy thinks we're primitive. Let them keep thinking that. As their ship entered Sol system, Elena reflected on the day's events. The aliens had laughed at humanity's weapons, dismissed their potential, and relegated them to support roles. But they had also revealed something important: their own overconfidence. The Galactic Defense Coalition had existed for thousands of years, facing threats with the same advanced technologies and proven strategies. They had forgotten what it meant to innovate, to adapt, to find new solutions to old problems. Humanity, on the other hand, had spent their entire existence doing exactly that. The ship's sensors detected unusual energy readings from the outer system. According to the official records, nothing should be there except ice and empty space. But Elena knew better. Hidden in the shadow of Titan, humanity's greatest secret was taking shape: the Doctor. Park's message had been clear. Project Prometheus was nearly complete. Soon, the galaxy would learn that human ingenuity was far more dangerous than any alien technology. The aliens had made a crucial mistake. They had judged humanity by their current capabilities, not their potential. They had seen the weapons, but ignored the minds that created them. They had mocked the tools while dismissing the intelligence behind them. Elena smiled as their ship approached Earth. The galaxy thought they knew what humans were capable of. They were about to discover how wrong they were. The day the galaxy's defenders failed 6 months after the humiliating reception at Nexus Prime, Captain Elena Vasquez found herself commanding the supply vessel TDF Mercy, carrying medical supplies and repair materials to the Epsilon Cygni system. The routine mission had become anything but routine when the Crimson Tide appeared. The Crimson Tide was a loose confederation of pirate fleets from the galaxy's unexplored regions. For decades, they had been a minor nuisance, raiding isolated colonies and stealing cargo shipments. But something had changed. Their ships now bore weapons that defied understanding, and their attacks had become coordinated and devastating. Elena watched from the bridge as the Galactic Defense Coalition fleet engaged the enemy. The battle was unlike anything in recorded history. Coalition ships simply vanished when struck by Crimson Tide weapons, not destroyed but erased from existence entirely. Captain reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Commander Alex Rivera. The Coalition flagship just disappeared. No debris, no energy signature. It's like the ship never existed. Through the view screen, Elena could see the massive form of Admiral Krindek's command vessel firing its bioplasma cannons at the enemy. The weapons that had once seemed so impressive now looked pathetic against the reality-warping shields of the Crimson Tide vessels. Status report: Elena ordered. Coalition forces have lost 30% of their fleet, Rivera replied. The Saurian hegemony dreadnoughts are falling back. Even the Crystalline Empire's reality distortion fields are being overwhelmed. Elena activated the communication system. All Terran vessels, this is Captain Vasquez. Maintain position and prepare for evacuation duties. We're going to have a lot of survivors to pick up. The human fleet consisted of 12 ships, all classified as support vessels by the Coalition. While the aliens fought with their advanced weapons, the humans waited on the battle's periphery, ready to rescue the wounded and recover the dead. A priority transmission came through from Earth. Dr. James Park's face appeared on the screen, his expression grim. Captain, we've been monitoring the battle. The enemy is using quantum disruptor technology. Quantum disruptors? Elena had heard the term in classified briefings, but the details were above her security clearance. They're weapons that operate outside normal space-time, Park explained. They don't destroy matter, they remove it from this reality entirely. The Coalition's shields and armor are useless because the weapons ignore physical laws. Elena watched as another Coalition ship simply ceased to exist. How do we fight something like that? We don't fight it, Park replied. We outsmart it. Captain, I'm sending you new orders. Operation Prometheus is moving to its final phase. The transmission ended, leaving Elena with a data packet containing coordinates and technical specifications that made her head spin. According to the information, humanity had been developing quantum manipulation technology for the past 5 years, building on theoretical work that predated first contact with the aliens. Ma'am, Rivera called out, we're receiving a coalition-wide evacuation order. All surviving ships are to withdraw to the Centauri system. Elena looked at the tactical display. The Galactic Defense Coalition, the mighty force that had mocked human weapons 6 months ago, was in full retreat. Their advanced technology meant nothing against an enemy that could rewrite the laws of physics. Belay that order, Elena said, "Signal the fleet. We're proceeding to the coordinates Dr. Park provided. Captain, those coordinates are in the outer system. There's nothing there but empty space. Trust me, Alex, there's more there than meets the eye." As the Terran fleet moved away from the battle, Elena received another transmission. This one was from Captain Sarah Mitchell, whose stealth vessel had been conducting reconnaissance missions throughout the engagement. "Elena, you need to see this," Mitchell said, her voice tight with concern. "The Crimson Tide isn't just using quantum weapons. They're using quantum drives." The implications hit Elena immediately. Quantum drives would allow near-instantaneous travel across vast distances, making traditional fleet movements obsolete. If the Crimson Tide could appear anywhere without warning, no system would be safe. "How many ships are we talking about?" Elena asked. "Our sensors detect over 200 vessels," Mitchell replied. "But here's the strange part, they're not all the same species. The Crimson Tide has been recruiting from dozens of different civilizations, all using the same quantum technology." Elena's mind raced. Someone had provided the Crimson Tide with advanced weapons and recruited diverse species to their cause. This wasn't random piracy, it was a coordinated campaign against the established galactic order. "Sarah, I need you to maintain surveillance on the enemy fleet. Use passive sensors only. We can't let them detect our reconnaissance." "Understood. What about the Coalition survivors?" Elena looked at the tactical display. Scattered across the system were the remnants of the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Ships that had once seemed invincible now drifted as floating debris, their crews dead or dying. "Signal all Terran vessels," Elena ordered. "Commence rescue operations. I want every survivor recovered, regardless of species." The next several hours were spent pulling alien crew members from damaged ships. Elena's medical bay filled with injured beings she had never seen before. Some with crystalline bodies cracked by impossible stresses, others with energy forms barely contained by emergency field doctor. Amanda Foster, the ship's chief medical officer, worked tirelessly to treat injuries that defied human understanding. "Captain, some of these beings exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. I don't even know how to scan them, let alone treat their wounds." "Do your best, Doctor. We're all they have right now." As the rescue operations continued, Elena received regular updates from Earth. Project Prometheus was ready for deployment, but the window of opportunity was narrow. The Crimson Tide fleet was already moving toward the galactic core, where they would attack the most heavily defended systems. "Captain," Rivera called out, "we're picking up a massive energy signature from the coordinates Dr. Park provided. Something's happening out there." Elena activated the long-range sensors. In the outer system, space itself seemed to be folding and twisting. Reality bent around a point of impossible geometry, and from that distortion emerged a sight that took her breath away. The TDF Prometheus was unlike any ship ever built. Its hull seemed to phase in and out of existence, and its very presence caused interference with nearby electronics. The vessel was surrounded by smaller ships, all displaying the same reality-bending characteristics. "My God," Rivera whispered, "how long have they been building this?" 5 years, Elena replied, remembering the classified briefings. "While the aliens were laughing at our primitive weapons, our scientists were learning to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality." A communication came through from the Prometheus. Admiral Marcus Chin appeared on the screen, his face showing a mixture of pride and apprehension. "Captain Vasquez, report your status." "We've rescued over 300 Coalition survivors, sir. The enemy fleet is moving toward the galactic core using quantum drives." "Understood. Captain, I'm transmitting new orders to all Terran vessels. We're going to intercept the Crimson Tide before they reach Nexus Prime." Elena stared at the Admiral. "Sir, with respect, we're supply ships. We're not equipped for combat against quantum weapons." Chin smiled grimly. Captain, for the past 6 months, the galaxy has seen us as janitors and supply runners. That ends today. Every Terran vessel has been equipped with quantum field generators. We're not support ships anymore, we're the most advanced fleet in the galaxy. The truth hit Elena like a physical blow. The humiliating reception at the Cosmic Senate, the assignment to support duties, the constant mockery from alien species, it had all been a cover. While the galaxy's attention was focused on their primitive weapons, humanity had been secretly developing technology that made even the most advanced alien civilizations look primitive. Orders, sir? Elena asked. Proceed to Nexus Prime. We're going to show the galaxy what human ingenuity can accomplish when properly motivated. As the Terran fleet moved toward the galactic core, Elena reflected on the events of the past year. The aliens had made a fundamental mistake. They had judged humanity by their current capabilities rather than their potential for growth. They had seen the weapons but ignored the minds that created them. The Crimson Tide thought they were attacking a defenseless galaxy. The Coalition believed their technology was superior to anything humanity could produce. Both were about to learn that human beings were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The galaxy's greatest crisis was about to become humanity's greatest opportunity. How Earth's scientists broke the laws of War the Nexus Prime system was in chaos. The massive space station that served as the galactic government's headquarters was under direct assault by over 300 Crimson Tide vessels. Their quantum weapons were systematically dismantling the station's defenses, erasing entire sections from existence. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the TDF Prometheus, watching the battle unfold through quantum-enhanced sensors. The Coalition's remaining forces had formed a defensive perimeter around the station, but their conventional weapons were useless against the reality-warping shields of the enemy fleet. Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Rivera, Coalition losses are approaching 70%. The Saurian hegemony is requesting immediate assistance. Elena smiled grimly. 6 months ago, the Saurians had mocked human weapons as primitive toys. Now, they were begging for help from the species they had dismissed as janitors. Admiral Chen's voice came through the communication system. All Terran vessels, this is Admiral Chen. Operation Prometheus is now active. Engage quantum field generators and prepare for combat. Throughout the human fleet, ships began to phase in and out of normal spacetime. The hulls of the vessels became translucent, then solid, then translucent again as quantum fields wrapped around them. To outside observers, it looked like the ships were flickering between dimensions, the doctor. James Park stood beside Elena on the bridge, monitoring the quantum field generators. Captain, the field is stable. We're now operating partially outside normal spacetime. Enemy weapons will have difficulty targeting us. And our weapons? Elena asked. Quantum-enhanced kinetic projectiles, Park replied. We're firing tungsten rods through dimensional rifts. They'll materialize inside enemy ships, bypassing their shields entirely. Elena watched the tactical display as the first Terran ships engaged the Crimson Tide fleet. The human vessels moved through space like ghosts, appearing and disappearing at will. When they fired, their weapons simply materialized inside enemy hulls, causing devastating internal explosions. Direct hit on enemy flagship, Rivera reported. Their quantum shields are down. The vessel is venting atmosphere. Elena activated the fleet-wide communication system. All ships, focus fire on the largest enemy vessels. Use quantum phase shifting to avoid return fire. The battle became a demonstration of human adaptability. While the aliens had developed increasingly complex weapons over thousands of years, humanity had learned to manipulate the fundamental laws of physics. The Crimson Tide's quantum disruptors were useless against targets that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Captain, called out Dr. Park, we're detecting massive quantum instabilities in the enemy fleet. Their drives are overloading. Elena studied the sensor readings. The Crimson Tide vessels were trying to use their quantum drives to escape, but the dimensional distortions created by the Terran fleet were causing feedback loops in their systems. Signal all ships, Elena ordered. Increase quantum field intensity. Let's see if we can destabilize their entire fleet. The human ships began pulsing with energy that existed outside normal space-time. The effect on the Crimson Tide fleet was immediate and devastating. Their quantum-enhanced hulls began to fracture as conflicting dimensional fields tore at their molecular structure. On the bridge of the Coalition Command ship, High Counselor Vexthalion watched the battle with growing amazement. The energy being had existed for millennia, witnessing the rise and fall of countless civilizations, but it had never seen anything like what the humans were doing. Admiral Krindek, Vexthalion said, "How is this possible? 6 months ago, we determined that human technology was primitive." The insectoid commander's exoskeleton flickered with confused patterns. "Counselor, our analysis indicated that humans used chemical propellants and metal projectiles. These quantum weapons are beyond our understanding." "Perhaps," Vexthalion replied. "We analyzed the wrong things." The battle continued for another hour, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The Crimson Tide fleet, which had seemed invincible just hours before, was being systematically destroyed by weapons that operated on principles none of them understood. Elena received a transmission from Warlord Vaxthal, the leader of the Crimson Tide fleet. The alien's face appeared on the screen, his features twisted with rage and confusion. "Human Commander," Vaxthal said, "what sorcery is this? Your species was supposed to be primitive." "We are primitive," Elena replied calmly. "We use mass and velocity just like you said. We've simply found more interesting ways to apply those principles." "Impossible. Our quantum shields should deflect any physical projectile. Your shields protect you from attacks in normal space," Elena explained. "Our projectiles don't travel through normal space. They travel through quantum tunnels and materialize inside your ships." Vaxthal's expression changed from rage to fear. "You've weaponized dimensional manipulation. Such technology is forbidden by the ancient treaties." "What treaties?" Elena asked. "Humanity wasn't part of any treaties. We developed our technology independently." The transmission ended as Vaxthal's ship was destroyed by a quantum-enhanced torpedo. The remaining Crimson Tide vessels attempted to retreat, but the dimensional distortions prevented their quantum drives from functioning properly. As the battle concluded, Elena received communications from throughout the Coalition fleet. The same alien representatives who had mocked humanity's weapons 6 months ago were now requesting technical specifications for quantum field generators. Captain Vasquez came the voice of Ambassador Zeth Kar. "The Saurian hegemony wishes to discuss a military alliance with humanity. We believe our species could benefit from technological cooperation." Elena smiled. "Ambassador, I'm sure we can arrange something, but the terms will be quite different from what you offered us 6 months ago." Admiral Chin appeared on the communication screen. "Captain, excellent work. The Crimson Tide fleet is completely destroyed. Coalition leadership is requesting an immediate meeting to discuss humanity's new status." "What status would that be, sir?" "Equal partners in the defense of the galaxy," Chin replied. "It seems they've suddenly developed a deep appreciation for human ingenuity." Dr. Park looked up from his instruments. "Captain, we're receiving congratulatory messages from over 40 different species. They're all requesting access to our quantum technology." "I'm sure they are," Elena said, "but that technology took us 5 years to develop. They'll need to prove they're worthy partners before we share our secrets." As the Terran fleet regrouped near Nexus Prime, Elena reflected on the events of the past year. The aliens had made a fundamental error in judgment. They had assumed that technological sophistication was the same as intelligence. They had seen humanity's simple weapons and concluded that humans were simple creatures. But humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology. It was their ability to adapt, to learn, to find new solutions to impossible problems. While the aliens had spent millennia perfecting their existing weapons, humans had been busy rewriting the rules of warfare. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The species that had been dismissed as primitive janitors was now the most advanced military force in known space. and they had achieved this not through superior technology, but through superior thinking. Captain Revere called out, "We're receiving a formal invitation from the Cosmic Senate. They want to discuss humanity's new role in galactic defense." Elena smiled. "Set course for Nexus Prime. I think it's time we had a proper conversation with our new partners." As the TDF Prometheus moved toward the massive space station, Elena knew that everything had changed. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted, and humanity was no longer content to serve as supporters and janitors. They were ready to take their place as leaders in the cosmic community. The aliens had laughed at humanity's primitive weapons. Now, they would learn to respect human ingenuity, adaptability, and determination. The galaxy's greatest crisis had become humanity's greatest triumph, and the future belonged to those who could think beyond the boundaries of conventional wisdom. The Terran Gambit had succeeded beyond all expectations. Humanity was no longer just another species among the stars. They were the species that had changed the rules of galactic warfare forever.